I am a high energy, life loving, wise pineapple. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say typically a CEO of their company would be talking more financials.
Right.
And I tend to be more feelings focused. But honestly, what makes my heart pound is watching people get results, watching people love their job in our industry again, and the knowledge that I can put my head down to bed every night going that I made it better today for a lot of people. That's all I need.
This is Pay Me in Plane Tickets. I'm ready to dive in.
Let's do it.
Welcome. Welcome to the podcast, Christine Trippi. I am very excited to have you on, not only to talk travel, but I have been practicing on our last talk the I will principle, and it has changed a lot. I've been
I
accomplishing a lot.
I love this so much. And honestly, I didn't even remember that we talked about that. So I'm thrilled to hear this follow-up.
I, I mean, you pretty much invented it and then created it for myself. So I want to know more about it more than anything else. But before we get started, just where do you hail from? Give us like the basic, what's the beginning of Christine?
Okay, I'll just snapshot this.
Yeah.
I am a high energy, life loving, wise pineapple. I've spent my entire life, practically since I was 17, working inside hotels. And that's been 37 years. Don't do the math. And in 2020, I left the hospitality industry. Well, I didn't leave the hospitality industry. I left hotel operations to start my own company, which is the Wise Pineapple. And now I do keynote speaking, consulting, training for hospitality companies.
Did you travel while you were younger, or did travel really hit more of your realm until you got into the hospitality industry?
Yes. Well, if anybody out there works in hospitality, you know that we didn't, especially in the 90s, we never had time to travel. All we did was work. So, truly, my travel passion and obsession didn't start until I'd say about 45 when I took a job with Marriott International that would put me on a plane every week. It was a travel job. And I crossed the country supporting hotels, Marriott hotels across the country. And that's when the travel bug really started.
Ooh, so you got bit pretty much.
Oh, yeah, huge hunk.
Do you have any particular places that maybe were your top two? I know they
Oh,
probably were work related, but
yes. Well, if we're going to talk inside the lower 48 of the
low,
US,
sure.
um, the one that stands out the top is the Grand Tetons.
Ah,
It's Grand Teton National Park, and it's Jackson Hole, Wyoming, is the little town just outside of it,
yeah.
and it is absolutely majestic. And I don't know if it's because that's the first time I ever saw mountains like that, or if it's because it just is that majestic. But it's unbelievable, and I'll just never forget driving upon those mountains for the first time. And being from Chicago, I had never seen anything like that. So it was just magic.
Beautiful, beautiful. And definitely that's a lot of people don't explore the sort of the states a lot. They try to go international as much and they don't really know there's a lot of beauty at home.
Oh, not a lot is so undercutting it.
Right.
Our country, and I had no idea, our country is stunningly gorgeous
Yes, very
and
true.
so diverse. There's so many different places to go that are nothing like another one over here. Like you can go and have so much. And that somebody recently said that to me. Like Europeans, they talk about going to all these different countries and stuff, and in America, we know why you don't go anywhere because it's all here.
Right. Yeah,
So we
exactly. Yes, I've heard
yeah,
that.
we really do have a lot. But now we of course we don't have the history they do. So
Okay, yeah, no, and definitely the transportation is a bit easier in Europe. They have the
Yes.
very advanced train system that allows them to connect to different parts of different countries in
Yes.
the
And fast. And this is a whole nother podcast, but why the hell don't we? Right?
All we have is an Amtrak.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Why are we so behind and all in the infrastructure? That's a whole nother podcast, but
Now, you mentioned a few things that you are into, right? You delve into, you are diving into a few different ventures, but for me, the you are an author of
I
Yes
am.
is the Answer. And again, this principle of I will, and this is sort of what you talk about in your book, sort of can relate to travel. People can be a bit scared of
Oh,
taking that
yes.
leap of faith and going to a place or maybe solo traveling somewhere. And
Mhm.
sometimes you have to just say yes and go for it
Yes.
and feel the fear and do it anyways. But what inspired you to write this book?
Well, first of all, Yes is the Answer is truly at its heart a customer service book. It is, I truly put this in the world to be able to help that person that I might not personally meet and to help them stand tall, be empowered, and be able to say yes to their customer and stop getting beat up by customers. You know, when you can stand tall and deliver yeses, you love your job, your customers love your product, and everyone's happy. And so I came to, through my journey, and I talk a lot about it in the book, how I came to my 4 steps. But I came to it by my own greatest failure. And I was that leader telling my team members, yes is the answer. What is the question? And then, it failed miserably. And the reason why it failed is because it's really hard to say yes to questions like, can I get an upgrade, or can I get a smoking room, or can I check out at 5 o'clock instead of noon? Those are hard questions. And I didn't even know how to say yes to those. Yet I was telling my team members, yes is the answer. So when I realized that my faux pas, I said, well, how do you say yes every time? And is it even possible? And so I got hyper obsessed with how do you say yes? And so through my journey, it took me a few years to come to it, but I came to my 4 steps, and you can always say yes. Now, there's a whole nother meaning to yes as well, and that's about life. What are we showing up for? What are we saying yes to in our life? And are we just saying, we're genetically programmed to lean towards the no's and the negatives, and oh, I can't go to another country, or I can't apply for that job. We're just genetically programmed for that. And if we can rewire our brain for that positive yes, we can start with the positive instead of immediately going to that negative.
So basically, you can apply these principles. I know it's written for customers and it's written for, how to approach clients and improving your business, but these are life principles that you can apply to any everyday experience.
100%. As a matter of fact, I even talk about it in the book. I give other examples how you can use it in your personal life. And when I deliver a keynote, I always talk about how, as we have this conversation, I want you to think about where else do you need this in your life. So, working with my teenage daughter, if I had, instead of gone right to the no, you can't have the car on Saturday night, instead followed the principles of yes and pause and make friends first. Oh, thanks for asking first, Samantha. Can I ask what you need it for, or where are you going? Now that we're not me against you, defensive, fighting each other. Now we're collaborating with each other.
Oh, I see.
And it's really about that pause. The first step, and yes is the answer, is to pause and make friends first, because we are genetically programmed to go right to the negative or the fight.
Straight. I get
But if
it.
you can pause yourself and get yourself out of the fight or flight, which is biological, you can get rid of that fight or flight, go right to the heart and creativity of what you can do. So that takes you the next step of tell them what you can do, because nobody gives a crap about what you can't do. We waste so much time saying, oh, we're in a sold out situation, or that's not possible because I'm booked, or I don't have a passport.
Right. Just say yes and go get it.
Exactly. Exactly.
So the revelation happened basically at work. And then
Yes.
that sort of inspired, oh, okay, let me change it. And now you applied it, and you mentioned an example with you and your daughter for a car. Something as simple as that. That simple pause
Yes.
made that much greater of a difference in how not only you were able to understand the situation and how your daughter was able to see the situation.
Yes.
I think like
And I love this visual of things, especially if you're thinking about this in customer service. It immediately changes the me against you into me and you against the problem.
ah,
So I'm always telling people, like, with problem resolution, is always stay on the same side of the table. So now when you pause and make friends first and talk about what you can do, and here's what options I have, now it's me and you against the problem instead of me against you. I said no.
oh, I see. I get it.
It
I
immediately changes it. And now you become a team.
right. You kind of flip the table.
Yes. Yes.
The opponents, and you guys have now a shared vision or a shared goal.
Yes. Yes.
Brilliant, brilliant,
And
brilliant.
they see you as an adversary, not a villain, not someone I'm against. Yes.
So, where else have you used this? Have you used this principle or these principles from your book in your life?
Oh, everywhere. It's all about positive energy. And again, it's about understanding where you're negative in your life. Okay. And even though I wrote the book, there are days I still struggle with it.
Right.
It's about becoming aware of where you're negative. So again, I might say to you, oh, you know what? I saw a job post that you can make so much more money, and I think you'd be perfect for it. The first place most people will go is, oh, well, I don't have that. I don't have that experience, or I don't have that degree, or I don't have, that's the first thing we think about.
Right.
We go right to the no. And that's why it's just important to know where. And then all of a sudden, once you start clicking into this, you start hearing yourself. And I'll give you another example. I worked with a spa in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. And I said to her, what are your hard no's in your spa? Do you mean? And so I explained to her, that's questions that are really hard to say yes to. I guess I should say hard yeses. And she said, I don't know. I said, okay, here's your homework. What I want you to do is over the weekend, I want you to listen to anytime you say, no, I'm sorry, or unfortunately. And I want you to listen for your team members too, to see when they say it. Then on Monday, I'm going to call you back and then let's talk about what you've heard. And I get her on the phone on Monday and she says, oh my God, that's all we say.
Wow.
But they weren't even aware of all of those no's because
Right.
that was a policy. They didn't think they had options. And then I showed them how to say yes to all of it.
Basically, it sort of changed their perspective, and it opened doors for them when they started to recognize that they were always operating with this negative or no mindset. And now, using this principle, they're able to sort of see these new possibilities that they thought never existed.
Right. They didn't even think of it as an option. It's like, that's a no, no.
Yeah,
They didn't even think of it, so they didn't even think that they were saying no
I see what you're saying. It was
because it was just so,
rotary, it was
oh, yes,
machine.
yes, exactly.
Okay. Did this sort of new perspective, not only for business, but also for life, inspire the, I'm hoping to pronounce this properly, the Japanese practice of the misogi? Sort of
Yes. I, I pronounce it a misogi.
sogi. Okay.
And I think that's how it's pronounced, but I could be wrong too. But from how I've learned, and I've recently, I would say I've been doing the misogi for years, but I recently learned of it as a thing. So I would say for me, I've probably been doing this a good 10 years where every year I do one year defining thing, something really big. Now, with a misogi, it comes from the Japanese culture, and it's more in Japanese culture, it's more of a transformation, which it is for us as well. But it ends up in a waterfall and refreshing, and things like that. I don't know a lot about their culture of it, but I know that in the Western world we've adapted this as a life transformation, a year defining thing, something that's really hard. Many people who talk about the misogi, they say there's only one rule: don't die. So it's got to be something that really challenges you. Now, that doesn't mean it has to be so physical that you could possibly die. I mean, it could be writing a book. One of the years for me was writing the book,
Okay.
something that challenged me, something that transformed me. So it has to be. And when I think of that year, 2019, I think of that was my year defining event.
That was it.
Yes.
And how so to sort of compare it against the American culture, and I don't know if this happens in other cultures, but how does the Masogi differ from like a New Year's resolution, where it sounds like the Masogi is a pick one thing and it has to be so much of a reach that that's all you're aiming for, while the resolutions could be a multitude of different changes that you are looking to sort of implement. Is
Yes. And you know what? I think for me, it kind of started out as just a resolution. And then so many people would say to me, oh, I don't do resolutions, resolutions. I'm like, for me, a resolution isn't a negative. It's one thing I'm going to do. I'm going to challenge. I'm going to experience this year. It's not about, I'm not going to be messy anymore, or whatever, I'm going to quit smoking. And like that can be a resolution for sure. But for me, when I would think about the new year and a resolution, it would be, what new things am I going to experience? So for me, I think the misogi started out as a resolution, and then as I learned about this concept, now I just call it that.
oh,
But yeah, so when I go into the year and framing it up like this,
mm,
I learned, or I will say that I confirmed this with Jesse Itzler. If you've ever heard of him, he kind of talks about the same thing. When he's planning out his year in January, he goes into his year,
yeah,
he plans it out. Now, how I do it, I do it a little bit different. But for me, every quarter, I plan a mini adventure.
okay.
Every year I plan one misogi, a year defining event that will transform me. And then do is every other week, just do something different to get me uncomfortable, to get me out of my comfort zone. Um, it literally could even be ordering something different on the
Oh,
menu or going to a new restaurant, because we all get into those ruts and those habits.
uh,
And I look at my life and I'm like, okay, every single Friday we get takeout sushi rolls. Every Friday. And so we all get into those ruts, and I'm like, okay, we've got to start mixing things up a little bit. And it might even be just going to dinner with someone you only see on Facebook, and okay, let's get together as humans now. So that's what I try to do, to really create an amazing life. If we want to have an amazing life at the end of this journey, if you want to say, my God, I did this, I saw that, I loved people, then we've got to make it happen. And if you just show up every day just to react to your day, you're going to end up at the end of the year going, where'd the year go? What have I even done? You've got to go in with intention and go, okay, every quarter, I'm getting a mini adventure on the calendar. I'm getting one big year defining thing on the calendar. And every other week, I'm going to do something different.
oh, okay. So to summarize, the way you sort of dress it up is have one year defining event, have a quarter, each quarter have something that's a little bit of an adventure, nothing too, maybe it doesn't have to be extravagant or massive. And then
Mhm.
also weekly implement at least one minuscule change that might make you move a little bit differently.
Yes, exactly. Literally from as simple as ordering something different, going to a different restaurant.
Right.
driving to work a new way.
Yeah,
It's just
that's a
something
good
you can
one.
do to get a new perspective. And I have a private hospitality club called the Crown Society, and we do this all together. I introduced this to them in the beginning of the year. We did our calendar planning for the year, and I'll tell you one story from a girl named Sky. She's in my club, and she I think her daughter Aubrey is a 3-year-old, and she has one set of twins. She has twins. So she's got this young family. She's a general manager, so she works a lot. And she's like, because of our intention in the beginning of the year, I'm going on my second mini second quarter adventure.
Wow.
And this is going to be the first time the twins have been away and have been staying in a hotel. And we're going to meet up with family we haven't seen. And like, I love that watching them
Mm.
create amazing lives just because they're part of this club and they get this energy every week.
They get that
It's
energy.
so
Yeah.
it's so cool.
Yeah, they still get to try it out.
Yes, yes, it's so cool.
When you're at your keynotes, do you share this information? Do they or have you noticed the audience is like picking this up and they're starting to and then I guess the feedback is, hey, I've also tried out this Masogi that you've been mentioning. Are you getting that type of feedback as well?
Well, I'll tell you what I do is my main keynote that I present is the big ideas on my book, Yes is the Answer. And I go through the whole process of Yes is the Answer and the 6 leadership lessons I learned on my journey to yes.
Yeah.
So that is what I speak about in the keynotes. I haven't yet done a keynote where I'm talking about the misogi and whatnot, but that's a good idea to put one together.
Because
But
it's very new. I've never heard of that.
okay. Well,
Yep.
and I'll give you all a great book recommendation too. I read this actually it was only maybe it was this year, so it was only a couple months ago. It's called The Comfort Crisis. And this gentleman talks about Misogi as well. And I mean, okay, he takes it next level. He and I think it was 2 other gentlemen who are experts at this got dropped off in the middle of nothing Alaska, and they lived on their own, surviving off the land for over a month.
Wow.
So yeah, it was pretty
Pretty
intense.
intense.
Yeah. But anyways, it's a fascinating book because it's not just about his misogi. It's a little bit about that, but it's also just about how we as a society, we didn't begin being so comfortable. We're all in 72 degrees whenever we want. We have, lattes whenever we want, all of that. And we need to get ourselves uncomfortable. And he talks about the science of it and all of that. And anyways, it's a fascinating book. Fascinating.
Exactly. Yeah, there is a level of convenience that we are afforded, and is that it hasn't had a negative impact on how we operate, how we think, how we goal ourselves each year, each day, and we get into the steady state. So, being that is, you are going to go on the Camino de Santiago. Is that a Masogi part of the Masogi resolution for yourself?
Yes, for me, that is my Masogi this year. It's called the Santiago El Camino.
Santiago.
And what that's okay. It took me a while to get it right too. What this is, it's a pilgrimage that people have done for centuries where they have pilgrimaged across Spain to reach the Church of Santiago. Now, there are many, many, I think there are thousands of routes to do this, that people have done this. And the most popular is the one through Spain and France.
Yep.
Now, for the whole thing takes about 31 days, but I don't have that kind of time. So what we're doing, my husband and I are doing this, and I got a little story about that too. And we're going to go from Sierra to Santiago, it'll take us 6 days walking 5 to 7 hours a day. And so it's just this journey where we're going to just think and be together and experience this new landscape. And what you do is you walk from town to town. So after say 5 or so hours, that should get for the first day, it should get us into the next town. And then we will stay at a hotel. They have a Spanish name for it, but And so anyways, that's what we're doing. And then after that, we're gonna take a week in Mallorca.
I think that'll be a well-deserved rest.
Yes, yes. But so, honestly, I know it will be challenging for me, but I know it's not the most challenging thing I've ever done. I don't think it's the most challenging thing. It
You don't want to
might be.
speak too
I've never
soon.
walked for 6 days. But in my mind, I don't have any doubt that I can't do it. But
Right.
my husband,
Mhm.
he's been hearing me talk about it. He's been hearing me talk about getting out because this man lives in comfort zone. And I love him for it. I love how easygoing, dependable,
Yep.
same thing every day. And then he's married to me. But he keeps hearing me talk about it and all of that. And he's like, I want to do this because I was going to do it myself. And he's like, I'm like, I would love for you to do this with me. I would love that. But I am not asking you to do this because I don't want you coming with an attitude. So for him though, I mean, I run regularly. I've done a marathon, which was a long time ago. I hike. I'm pretty
Active.
active. Thank you. That's what I'm looking for. Um, but he is not. And so this will be a challenge. So for me, I'm almost doing it more to help him experience something he's not sure he could do.
Got it. You're
Yes.
already going in with the mindset that you're going to complete the trek, your 6-day trek. And but for the travel, you're kind of motivating him to, hey, let's do it. We can do it. We just got to get through it. And
Yes.
in a couple hours, and explain it again. You're with a large crew. As I know it, there's a large
Actually,
individuals.
we will be by ourselves. There are a lot of people. This is the most popular route because it's like the last 100 kilometers. So it's the most popular route. But there'll be a lot of people, but we will be doing it ourselves.
Oh, okay, got it. So you're doing it as you and your husband, but it's not with like a group of people. Okay.
Yes. And
Un-
people from all over the world
yeah, they all jump.
come and do this, and so it's really exciting. And I don't have a I don't want to say I don't have a spiritual reason. I don't have a religious reason. I'll say that. So,
Okay.
I mean, many people, originally went because they wanted to go to this Church of Santiago. But I definitely will have a transformation. I'm going to get deep inside myself, think through things, be
Right.
with my husband without the noise of the world, if you
True.
will. But so yeah, so it'll be spiritual in a way, transformation.
And what are the expectations for the weather going to be like?
I think it's pretty good weather. I've been watching through Facebook groups. Some
Oh.
people are experiencing a lot of rain. Which is the one I really hope we don't encounter. But if we do, I've got to expect there to be pain.
What?
I've got to expect there to be discomfort. That's the whole purpose. But so I hope we have 72 degrees every day.
I'm hoping for you too. I'm hoping for it too. Now on these treks, as I've been told, the question is, how heavy is your backpack going to be?
Well, this is a great thing. And maybe I'm making it too comfortable, but but it's still going to be a super big challenge for us. But what I did is I signed up with a tour group, if you will. We're not going with a group, but it's a
Hmm.
tour company, I should say. And what they do is they book all your arrangements along the route,
Okay.
and they take your luggage to the next location. So all you have to do is have a small backpack with you with some minor things,
Okay, that makes
snacks, water. Yeah. So we won't have to carry everything. And quite honestly, I booked it with that when my husband said he wanted to come.
you're like, let's just add this caveat into here.
Yes,
Be nice.
because I just, he wouldn't be as flexible if all of a sudden we couldn't find a place to stay, or, he needs to have things planned for. So I'm like, okay, that's all right. Let's do that.
I can't wait to see all the pictures and the
I
journey
know.
and the journal entries about it. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a very transformative experience.
Yeah.
And I look forward to hearing all about it.
Yes. And it'll be a new country for us. So I'm so excited about that.
True. And then also you have a beautiful rest right after. That
Yes.
take that that would be well deserved and earned.
Mhm.
I
Yes.
think at
So
that point,
excited.
comfort is okay.
Yes. Where can I ask you where's your favorite place
My
you've been?
favorite place as of this very moment, because it can change as
I
life
know.
goes on. I always go back to Iceland. I love Iceland a lot.
I've
And
not been there.
oh, you gotta go. You gotta
Yeah.
go. Every inch of that country is scene stealing. You're
Okay.
just looking around. It's terrible to drive there. You're always gonna be distracted.
Yes. Yes, I totally get that. That's on my list. So I'll get there.
And then I would say what ties it is probably South Africa right now, but
Oh yeah. Did
need
you hike Cable Mountain?
I did, yes. Oh yeah, Table Mountain. Yes, I did. I did.
That was
It was really
amazing.
it was very high. It was beautiful, but yes.
Yes. Yes. Weren't you like I had no expectation of what that would look like, and I was completely floored. I could,
We went I went for the sunrise. Some people go for sunset. I went for sunrise.
okay.
Woke up really early. I had a great guide with me, and I thought it was going to be a group of people. It ended up being me and him. And so
Oh,
we ended up walking all the way up. I don't advise this, but I did not have the right shoes on. I didn't have hiking boots. I just had some regular sneakers, and I
yeah.
kind of wish I had some hiking boots. Not mainly for the going up, but going down was a little bit intimidating. But okay, got through. Got to see. We got there so early. The fog just
Yes.
crowded the whole city, the whole all pretty much all of Cape Town. And then when it dissipated as the sun was rising, it was magical.
It
Definitely
really is. Yeah, it is probably one of the prettiest places I've seen. Mhm.
glad that we share that same
Yes.
common.
Yes.
uh you started your firm, the Wise Pineapple. What
Mhm.
inspired this venture of yours?
Well, I'll tell you, I was working for Marriott International probably the last 10 years of my career before moving on my own. And I wrote the book in 2019. And once I wrote the book, I had people ask me all the time, did you plan when you started your Facebook group and when you wrote the book to do this? I said, I wish I could tell you I was that strategic and that forward thinking. I never dreamed I'd be living this life. I never dreamed it. Um, I wrote the book truly just so I could help those people that I might not meet to stand tall and love their positions and say yes. And that's why I did it. But then I did it and I started getting calls. Would you come speak to our people? Would you come speak to our people? And those requests were coming in more and more frequently. And so I just saw that as this sign that I'm being called to do something bigger and be able to support and help any company, any industry, any brand instead of just the brands that I was supporting. And so I said, you know what? I asked myself three questions. Let me see if I can remember those questions because I loved my job. I
Mm,
loved my company.
yeah,
I I never would have walked away from my job or my company. I loved it so much. So it was a really hard decision.
yeah.
But I said to myself, what makes you come alive? What doing what makes you come alive and feel passionate? And that would be going and sharing this message. Two, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail?
Mm,
And if I knew I couldn't fail, I'd start this business. I would start, sharing this, with any company. And then the other one was, and now I'm forgetting what that third question was. What makes you come alive? What would you do if you couldn't fail? And it'll probably come back to me as I'm talking. I'm
oh,
pressured now to come up with a third one. All three of them led me to this, and I'm like, why would I not try this? If
right.
it, I'll give it 1 year. If it doesn't work, I can get a hotel job any day. So I said that I'm going to try it, and so I did, and I was already booking things up. I was busy up until August. And then March 10th, 2020 happened. Not a great year to start a speaking business in the hospitality industry, but that's okay. You know what? You got to expect the hard. If you go into life not expecting the hard and the obstacles, then you're going to be very disappointed person. So what I did was I started doing a lot of free things, just trying to keep our industry positive and seeing the light and things like that. And you know what? A lot of that turned into relationships when things got better. And I ended up having two clients that just kept me afloat during those really, really hard times. And then the last 2 years have been gangbusters. And it's been incredible being able to share this message with thousands and thousands of people.
No, and to see your firm thriving, you're seeing, I'm witnessing the hard work pay off, the investment now showing it's coming into fruition, you know.
Yes.
It's a wonderful feeling to experience that, and deserving. You have put the effort and the work into it, and I am in awe of what you've been able to sort of build and nurture.
Yeah, honestly, I'm in awe of it too because I had no idea. And I'm thrilled. I know, I know to be, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say typically a CEO of their company would be talking more financials.
Right.
And I tend to be more feelings focused. And truly I really mean this. I mean, obviously I'm glad I've been successful. I'm hitting my target goals and exceeding many of them. But honestly, what makes my heart pound is watching people get results, watching people love their job in our industry again, because it was really bad for a couple of years. It was
Yeah.
really bad. And the knowledge that I can put my head down to bed every night going that I made it better today for a lot of people, that's all I need.
I mean, no, yeah, the industry definitely in 2020 was hit extremely hard. And I think what it also showed was that yes, there are financial statements, but what you're showcasing is there's feeling statements that you got to have in place as well.
Yes. If this was all about numbers, I'd never make it. I'd never, I mean, I just wouldn't be happy. I just wouldn't be happy.
That's
I
true.
I need to know I'm making a difference. And the whole book talks about changing the world one yes at a time. So I need to see that. I need to feel that in order for me to be happy and have a purpose, I guess.
Right, and you should never be in the hospitality business for the numbers because they're never as pretty as it seems.
Yes. Yes. And the number today might not be the number tomorrow.
The number, that percentage can change in a heartbeat.
Yes. Yes, it can.
So, what's the next phase of the Wise Pineapple? What's the next
Oh
phase?
God.
Christine Trippi.
That is major topic right now here at the headquarters of the Wise Pineapple, because the beginning half of the year it's conference season. I am on the road every week. It's just get all the things I need to do done. But now summer is a lighter time, and it's time for me to get strategic again, think about what the next projects are, etc. So uh I've got a number of things I'm deciding. One, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. I've been thinking about that for a while. Two, I want to write that next book.
Oh,
Um, yes, and I've got a huge idea for my book launch, and it would involve breaking a Guinness Book of World Records. Dun,
oh,
dun,
okay,
dun.
okay. A little bit of a
um,
stinger in there.
Yes. So I'm working on a merch shop right now. So I've got a lot of things, but again, it's just me here. So I've got too many ideas at once. I've got to decide which ones to start first.
One mind, but we need a lot more hands. That's the
Yes. Yes.
problem.
Yes. Hmm.
Well, that's wonderful. Okay, so you have pretty much a bunch of different projects that you're looking to do, and you're planning it out properly, and
Yes.
make sure that it sort of is spaced out and staggered in a very healthy way for the firm.
Exactly. And I'll show you if you can see
Yeah.
my little light box there.
Yep.
We talked about resolutions in the beginning. Every year in the beginning, this is John Gordon wrote a book called One Word. And what he does is in the beginning of the year, he picks one word rather than a bunch of resolutions. It's one word that guides you through the year. And so in 2020, my word was next. What's next? Oh no, actually 2020, my word was growth. I
Growth.
wanted to grow into this new. Then the next word was next. Okay, I was trying all kinds of things. Okay, what am I doing next? Everything was about the next thing.
I see.
So every year I have this word. So this year, my word is simplify. So
Oh.
I can become, run my business leaner, smarter. What are the things that are most that are taking me to my goals? And because I was trying all kinds of different things. Now I need to go. Okay, this isn't. This is more time than value, and I need to. So I'm really simplifying things. I got a virtual assistant, and I'm setting processes and all of that.
Wow. So yeah, you're pretty much laying down the foundation to your operation in not only your business, but also just in your life. You're making sure that this one word objective and growth, then next, and then now simplify, they're all sort of playing in this orchestra very balanced. And now you're applying this organization to I guess what you've already amassed.
Yes. And it's so funny because the podcast was something I thought in the beginning of the year I was going to start. And then I was so busy, which, yay, thank you, Lord. Thank you, love, life.
You're blessed. That's good.
Yes. But I was so busy. And every time I started to think about planning it out, I would look at my sign because it reminds me every day. And I look at my sign and I'd be like, okay, you know what? You have so much going on right now. Podcast probably isn't going to simplify your life right now. This might not be the time to do that. So I let it. It really does guide me throughout the year.
Well, you're prioritizing, and that's a good thing.
Mhm.
That's
Yes,
very good.
yes,
A fun fact about you is that you have visited the 50 states?
yes. I have.
Ooh, okay. Now, how
Have
did this?
you? How many states have you
No,
gotten to?
I have not visited 50 states. I haven't counted, but it's definitely nowhere near 50.
Well, yeah, well, we need to get you to count.
Yeah, I have to figure that one out. Yeah,
We need
yeah.
more people paying you in plane tickets.
Yeah, that's what we need to happen.
Yes. Well, that a whole goal. I want to say it was 45. I have to. When I took that job with Marriott International, that was a travel job.
Mm,
I had only been to 7 states my whole life.
wow,
My
okay.
whole life, 45 years, I had only been to 7 states. And all of a sudden, I got this job where I'd be crossing the country almost every week. And I said to myself, I wonder if I could hit all 50 states before I turn 50. And I started this hashtag 50 for 50. And then my son, hearing me say that, he got me this map, scratch off map.
Going
So every time I'd visit a new state, we'd start scratching it off. And then I started getting strategic. If I would visit a state, I'd take a couple extra PTO days and hit a couple states around it, maybe take a little extendo. And I started getting intentional about hitting all these states. And I was hitting it. And it was so exciting. It was such a fun adventure. And it made work even more fun. And I don't want to blow this. So I want to tell you this funny story, this amazing story, but I also don't want to blow it. But yeah, yeah, you'll have to tell me when I get there if you want me to blow it or not.
yeah, look, go for it.
Okay, so because it's such a good story about customer service too.
Uh,
So the last year, this was 2018, I was going to turn 50, and I had gotten down to I think 3 states. I had a work trip to Hawaii, and then I took an extra week there. And then the next month, I think it was, I did a 4-day weekend in Alaska. I don't even know why I was thinking you have to cruise to Alaska, but you can fly.
you can fly there.
So my husband and I, we flew for the weekend just to hit and we had a great time and everything. We hit it off the back. And then when I got back, I realized I had one state left. And guess what state it was?
uh, I'm gonna guess Maine. No.
The most boring state in
Oh,
the country,
like
North Dakota.
oh.
And when I realized, oh my God, Christine, you have left the most boring state for last. How could you have done this? And I was like laughing. So I'm like, what the hell am I going to do in North Dakota? So I was just looking it up and I saw that Ed Sheeran was coming. So I booked a ticket all by myself. I went and saw Ed Sheeran. And then when I was Googling what to do in Fargo, North Dakota, it said the number one attraction was to go to the visitor center and see the chipper from the movie Fargo,
Oh, I know
where
what you're
they
talking about.
chipped all
Yeah,
the bodies.
yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Because I was only thinking like when I think of North Dakota, I only think of Fargo because of the movie.
Right, right. And I've never even seen the movie, but you know what? That was the number one attraction. So I had to do it.
Yeah.
So on the way to the airport, I got an Uber and I said, can you just stop at the visitor center? And I just want to get a picture with the chipper.
Okay.
So I go in and there's these two sweet ladies. And I said, could you take a picture of me with the chipper? I said, and of course, because I'm who I am, I said, I'm on my quest to hit all 50 states and this is my final state. And they both go, oh, it was so cute. And I'm like, oh my God, I literally have goosebumps thinking about this. And they go, do you have a minute? And I'm like, sure. They're like, come with us. And we go into the other room, and there in the other room is a life size covering a full wall. And it says, save the best for last.
Wow.
They have a whole club, save the best for last. They gave me a shirt, they gave me a certificate. I signed the Save the Best for Last book. They put me on their Facebook page.
Oh man.
There's a whole world of people out there that save North Dakota for last. Save the best for last.
I like that.
It's beyond great because listen to this. How many people have I told this story? Probably millions. And here's the thing. They took this nothing burger state
Yeah.
and they turned it into one of my all-time favorite experiences of traveling to 50 states.
Wow. See?
I of all the stories I tell about my 50 state travel, my 50 for 50,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
my top story.
That's the one. And it's
Now,
worth it.
when I yeah, right? When I talk to people that, oh, I just work for or I just work for the Super 8 or I just work for a select service brand. Honey, no. You've got it all. And it's all about your experience and those two ladies were more excited about this than I was. And that made me more excited and create this great experience. It has nothing to do with your state or your hotel or your if you're the newest kid on the block or if you're the brand new one. It's all about the people and the hearts inside your business.
That's beautiful. Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. That's a very poignant point there. I
Yes. And that's why I love this story.
Yeah. No, it's very vital to have that sort of spirit and that type of respect as you've had that experience with North Dakota and understand that it's about the people, it's about the community because it might be on the surface maybe or maybe as the perception it's a nothing place, but there's so much there and it's really the people who make it.
Yes. And I've said this too to people when I'm talking about this story is it could have been some punk saying, oh yeah, save the best for last. Here's your sticker. Here's your shirt. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. It was those ladies that made it that much,
Yeah.
that significant of an experience.
Yeah.
So they first thought to do it, which was brilliant. But then they had these ladies there that had this heart, and they, like I said, they were more excited about it than I was. And actually, once I knew about the whole thing, I was beyond excited. I wear that shirt all the time. I love that t-shirt so much. I just can't tell you enough
Yeah.
how awesome that was.
Well, that moment it vindicated your message,
Yeah,
right?
it does. It does. Yes.
All right, Christine. I know that you have a massive day ahead of you, a massive week going on. We like to close it out a little bit with some quirky,
Okay.
maybe questions to kind of see where you stand, see where you fall in the spectrum here. All
I love
right.
it.
So, if you were to be paid in plane tickets, which airline are you choosing?
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, I am a platinum member with United
Okay.
Airlines. Now, I will say that that's because I fly out of O'Hare and that's our hub.
Right.
But for service wise, I just have so much mad respect and love for Southwest because of their hearts and their service attitude. So I'm going to say United or Southwest. How about
United Southwest.
that?
Okay. Well, those are great choices. I'm a United baby. So,
Okay.
so we're in the
Yeah,
same plane.
I love it.
When you do travel, is it Airbnb or hotel?
I'm going to say hotel 99% of the time.
Wonderful pick. Yeah.
Yes.
Makes
Yes.
sense. Makes sense. Community is there.
Yes. What about you? I want to know about you.
Depends on the type of trip.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, if it's more adventurous, maybe a little bit community based, small town, small jungle like area, maybe Airbnb because there probably aren't any hotels. But probably I go probably 80% of the time it's a hotel.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
When you do travel, do you have a particular travel credit card or debit card that you pay?
United.
That's right.
Yep.
That's a good
Get
one.
my 2 free passes to the United Club every year.
They're worth it. They're worth it.
Yes.
We talked about the great things for travel, but do you have a travel pet peeve?
When people recline their seat,
Oh, okay.
I just find that the rudest thing.
Yeah, no, it is. It is just like a very odd scenario to put yourself in.
Yes. You're sitting there working and then all of a sudden they're in your lap. And
Your
and
tray
everybody
moves
knows
on.
how intrusive it is. It's like I don't know. I would never recline my seat.
Never recline my seat, and I agree. Yeah, I agree. Uh, Carry on or check bag.
Carry on.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
When you do board the plane, is it window, aisle, or middle?
Ultimately, I want the window, but I have to tinkle a lot. So if it's a long flight, I'm getting the aisle.
Right. Okay, okay, okay. And
Yeah.
who gets the armrest?
I always give the armrest to the middle person.
That's
Always.
good.
You got stuck in that middle. I'm giving you both.
That's
Yes.
very kind, very kind.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right. If you had to travel to one location for the rest of your life, where would it be and why?
God,
Now there is a cop out answer, but I like to let my guests struggle for a bit.
okay, let me struggle for a minute. If I could only travel to one place, here's what I'm going to say. I really want to live in Arizona.
Okay.
And the reason why I want to live in Arizona, one, mountains, two, heat, and three, every weekend can be an adventure because you are driving distance to Colorado, Vegas, San Diego, Grand Canyon, Sedona, Utah. They got a million national parks around them. I just came off my Q2 adventure and it was we rented a camper van and we did a bunch of the national parks from Utah to Arizona and I love it there so much.
Oh wow, okay. Even with the
Yeah.
dry
So
heat,
that's where I'm
it's
going.
really hot over there.
Yeah. And I don't know that I can't remember if I've experienced full on summer. And obviously that's not something you have to be there the whole summer to really get. But it's better than driving in the snow. I can drive in sun.
That's facts. Yeah. No,
Right.
not a big snow.
Yeah. Yes. And,
All
oh,
right.
and three taxes. Taxes are better than
Well, that's right. We are on the same page with
yeah.
that one. There it is.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Last one I ask everybody, where is your next trip?
Well, next one is Santiago El Camino in Spain. But after that, I have two things on my radar that I really want to get to. One is Banff,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's in Canada. Um, the pictures of Banff are unbelievable, and I can't imagine what it would look like in person. So Banff is something that's high on my list. And the other one is in our country is Yosemite and Sequoia, and that's in California. And I've been wanting to get there for a long time.
And
And then a big international trip, Thailand, Bali, and Vietnam. I
wow,
really
that's
want
all
to do
happening
those.
this year.
What's that?
Is that all happening this year?
Oh no, no, no.
Oh,
But I'm going to try to get at least one more good trip in this year.
okay, okay.
Yes. Yes.
All right. You definitely have a lot in the queue.
Yes. I love it. What about you? Where's your next trip?
My next trip right now is I'm scheduled for Chicago. Then I got something pending for, oh, I'm sorry, no, I got Boston, Chicago. Then I have Phoenix is coming up, so I will be in the heat right there with you. And the rest of the year is still kind of up in the air.
Okay, okay, Up in the Air, which is a great movie. It's one of my favorite.
It's a wonderful movie, yeah.
But if you need any recommendations for Chicago, I'm going to just tell you offhand there's no better tour in Chicago than the Architectural Boat Tour.
Okay,
Architectural Boat Tour, the best tour in Chicago.
okay. I'm going. I'm honoring that because
Okay.
I'll be there for a while, so I want to do it.
Oh, good, good. You'll love it. And if you need any restaurant recommendations, let me know.
Oh, definitely. Yes, yes, yes. I'm a
Okay.
big foodie. Okay.
Awesome.
Christine, I am so grateful that you were able to come on this podcast. It's been a wonderful time. I learned so much, and I know the listeners are going to learn a lot based off everything that you are preaching, everything that you sort of designed. It was again, I've applied the I will principle and it's working. It's wonderful. And
I love it.
Your travel experience is very profound, and I'm glad you were able to stop by.
Oh, me too. I love being with you. You're so much fun. And I love sharing my passion for hospitality and travel.
That's wonderful.